So the next one I'm going to look at is 37, and it's 1 minus cosine x times 1 plus cosine x equals 1 over cosecant x, or cosecant squared x. So the first thing I'm going to do is FOIL. 1 times 1 is 1. That's front. Outer is plus cosine x. Inner is minus cosine x. And last is negative cosine squared x. So these middle two terms are the same with different signs, so they're going to cancel each other out. So we get 1 minus cosine squared x. And from the Pythagorean identity, which remember was sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. If we subtract 1, we get sine squared x equals 1. Or if we subtract, cosine squared x, we get 1 minus cosine squared x equals sine squared x. And you should know those. Like sine squared x is 1 minus cosine squared x, and cosine squared x is 1 minus sine squared x. Those two come up. These three come up all the time. So they're good to recognize. So 1 minus cosine squared x is sine squared x. And sine squared x, sine's buddy is cosecant, so that would be 1 over cosecant squared x. And that's what our answer is. (46) was sine to the 4th x minus cosine to the 4th x equals sine squared x minus cosine squared x. And these are like a difference of 2 squares, so we want to factor them. So remember, a difference of 2 squares, we had x squared minus 1, we'd get x minus 1 times x plus 1. So you take the square root of both of them and you write them in both ends of the parentheses, and then you put a subtraction and an adding sign. So here, if you take the square root of both of these, you get sine squared x and cosine squared x. So we put them in the appropriate places, and then we get a minus and a plus. And up here, sine squared x plus cosine squared x is 1. So that would give us sine squared x minus cosine squared x times 1, which gives us sine squared x minus cosine squared x. That's the answer that we want.